This is not Sports Talk Live. This is SportScene, and thank you for joining us on this fine Tuesday evening. My name is Nick Ragner, and basically what this game's about is our panelists are going to answer a few questions, and they're going to score some points. But before I get ahead of myself, why don't we meet those esteemed panelists? Up first, we have Stephanie Haugh. Next, we have Troy Brooks, and following to his left, we have Sam Librizzi. Now, guys, we're going to get right down to the nitty-gritty. The first word of the day, we're talking about Phil Jackson. Lately, he's been linked to contract negotiations with the New York Knicks, possibly as a consultant. I got to have your opinion. Stephanie, what's the impact Phil Jackson can have on the New York Knicks?
I honestly don't know if he will have much impact on the Knicks, especially in a front office position. Jackson is well known for being more of a coach. He wins the championships, and going to a front office position to give him final says on basketball decisions, I think it's a risky decision.
Troy?
Wow, I'm kind of shocked at that reply, but we're talking about Phil Jackson here, an individual with enough championship rings to fit on every single last one of his fingers. And to put a man of his caliber and his leadership inside of the front office, I would find to be immense for the New York Knicks. I mean, big city, he's been in a big city since he's been coaching in the NBA, Chicago Bulls, Los Angeles Lakers, and you put him in New York. I mean, I think that's something that he's asking for, and I think it will be greatly beneficial to that organization.
Sam?
I don't know. I'm not really confident, or I don't know how to take it. I'm going to say no, actually. Because for one thing, he has been used to having talent there already when he's come. If you think about the Bulls, he had Jordan, and he got Pippen, Rodman, everybody else. And then he goes to the Lakers, he had Shaq there, and then he gets Kobe as well. So he's kind of been lucky in putting himself in good positions here. With the Knicks, they are horrible. Their owner, James Dolan, is just a mess. He doesn't know what to do with that franchise, anything at all. Phil Jackson does have ties there because he was a former Knick. He won a championship. He won championships there. He's 68 years old, though. The big question is if he is going to be doing this from his home in Los Angeles, or if he's going to go all the way to New York and run operations there. He has to get fully involved if he wants the Knicks to turn it around.
And Troy, that actually is a very interesting point you made there too, Sam. But Troy, I want to ask you this, since you think that Phil Jackson is going to be successful with the Knicks, exactly if he doesn't have success in the first couple of seasons, because right now the New York Knicks are a really bad team, how is the New York media going to portray him, especially the fan base? I mean, he could get booed out of New York before he even has a chance to make an impact. So what's your opinion on that?
I don't think you can boo a man like Phil Jackson. All that he's done inside of his career, it's not possible to boo a man with 10 rings on his finger.
I understand that aspect, absolutely.
It's just not possible. For him to come in and not have success right away, I also don't think that's possible because of his overall leadership. I mean, and I look at that team, and, you know, there's pieces. There's not one standout guy like a LeBron James or a Tim Duncan or Shaquille O'Neal even on that team, but there are pieces that can be worked with. And for that matter, Phil Jackson can make it work.
Well, Stephanie, I didn't mean to cut you off. We'll start you off with the next question. I'm going to give the points to Sam there because I do think the New York Knicks don't have a lot to build off of, and I like your point that Phil Jackson's always walked into really good situations. So I'm going to give you 5. Everybody else says 0 right now, but you guys have a chance to catch up. We have a few more topics to get a hold of. And up next, Stephanie, I'll start with you since you didn't get to comment a second time in that last scenario. We're talking Rashad Mendenhall. He steps down. He retires from the NFL at the age of 26. He recently writes an article and pretty much says he doesn't like living a private life in the public eye. Stephanie, this guy is leaving millions away to go write and travel the world. What are your opinions on Rashad Mendenhall retiring early?
Actually, I'm kind of cool with it in a way. I mean, yes, he is 26 years old. He probably has a few years left of football in him. But, I mean, really, he didn't have an outstanding 2013 season compared to, what was it? He was a first-round pick in 2008, and he rushed for over 1,000 yards in his second and third seasons. And the 2013 season, he didn't even get close to that. So, I mean, I know injuries have been a major role in this, but I think he's making the right decision to step down, and I think it'll benefit him.
Troy?
I would 100% agree with Steph. You know, I respect Rashad Mendenhall's choice, and there's a very rational explanation for him stepping down. Our generation is viewing football, which is probably the most violent sport that we've viewed, and all sorts of people are getting injured, getting head concussions, killing family members, things of that sort. And for him to step down, it takes a lot of courage, because it kind of makes him look like he's, soft or doesn't want to play his role. But, he's an individual and he has a choice in his own life. And for that reason, I respect his choice.
Sam.
I read his article on the Huffington Post,
Yep.
and it was very well written and
Yeah, it
very
was.
well said, actually.
Yep.
And I totally agree with what he was saying. Basically, he would kind of just wants to write and travel for the rest of his life in a way, And the thing that you said about how he doesn't want to be in the public eye, he thinks that football has become more of an entertainment business where it's all about show. And he was talking about back in the day when he was younger, is like these different players, they were commended for like their roles that they did, the tight ends blocking, it looks like they had heart and everything like that. So I agree with him not wanting to play anymore. I think it's a smart move, he doesn't want to get hurt anymore, and he wants to, do things for him. He wants to make himself a better person, is what he was saying.
No, he was saying that imagine having a job when you're always on duty and you can never fully relax, or you may just drown. I mean, would you necessarily think that's true for every football player in the NFL? Because I know Rashad Mendenhall was injured for a majority of the 2013 season. And do you think that he's using this more as a scapegoat to just not wanting to play anymore? Or do you think that his passion was there, but he literally just didn't have the interest in being under the public view? Troy? Go at it. Let's go quick.
I think that his passion was there, but, when I look at these guys' schedule, they literally have no time for themselves at all. Yeah. Like, they literally have about 6 hours to sleep. Other than that, you got 3 or 4 15-minute breaks throughout the day, and that's unacceptable, and I couldn't have that personally.
Stephanie, quick.
That's kind of what I was going to say, so he took
Perfect.
it from me. But
Awesome. Well, I'm going to give Troy the points there. He talked about courage, and regardless of Rashad Mendenhall's choice, he is an individual, and that's his choice to step down. It's nobody else's. So I'm going to give you 6 there because I liked your second answer better than Sam's first answer. So moving on to the next topic, Wichita State. They go 34-0, the first team to do that since 1991's UNLV team. Guys, they're going to be a first seed, but based on their RPI ranking, they're actually number 5 in RPI. So how do you guys think they're going to fare in the NCAA tournament this year? We're going to start with Sam.
I think they will do pretty well. They'll go Final Four. I mean, that's fully set on them going to the championship game. If they go to the championship game, I want them to play Florida, because that would be one of the best championship games I've ever seen. I think it'll be great defenses. Did you know that Wichita State is actually 10th in the Pomeroy defense stat? Pomeroy defense is like this big, huge thing, I guess, where they rate all the defensive teams. And you need to have a great defense to make it all the way and to play the championship game, I think.
Okay. Troy?
I don't see Wichita State going the entire way, going to the Final Four. They may go to the Sweet 16, but what I do admire about this team is that they have great team camaraderie. I take a look at the starting 5, and I see that they share the ball. They, are 4 out of 5 players in the starting 5 are double-digit scorers, and they know how to share the ball. And I think that goes a long way when trying to advance in the tournament, getting together and sharing the ball and playing team basketball.
Stephanie?
I'm just going to say I think Wichita State is going to be the most overrated team in the tournament.
I like that.
They're coming in 34-0. They haven't lost since April 6th of 2013 when they lost to Louisville, who actually went on to win last year.
Good
so,
stats.
I mean, they're coming in, and all teams that come in undefeated eventually lose. And you're coming into the tournament, you don't want to lose in the tournament. I'd rather them have lost early on to redeem themselves, so they're not going to do well, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. Wichita State ended their record without playing a top 25 team. How much that matters, I'm not really sure, but it's going to be really interesting when they start playing some of those really top-tier other talents around the league. I'm going to give Stephanie 11 points. I'm going to double your guys' because she put some sass in there, and I really appreciate the emotional input there. So thank you, Stephanie, for that. Moving along, we're going to the Milwaukee Brewers. Ryan Braun, he's back, guys. Has had a great spring training so far. I got to know, is he going to be a top 5 player by season's end? Troy, let's start with you.
Being from Milwaukee myself, I have to root for Milwaukee's own Ryan Braun, and saying that he will be a top 5 player. Every season that I've seen this man play baseball, he's hit balls out the park like no other, and he's absolutely incredible. He has a huge fan base, and that fan base will push him to continue his excellence in baseball.
Sam?
Yeah, I guess so. As of right now,
guess so.
He could easily make it into the top 5 because right now, top 5 players I'm looking at, you got Miguel Cabrera, Mike Trout, Andrew McCutchen, Carlos Gonzalez of the Rockies, and Robinson Cano of the Mariners. I mean,
Paul Goldschmidt, don't forget about him. He's a good first baseman.
Yes, that's very true. I forgot about him. Okay. Yeah. So it's tough to tell, because it is wide open. He could actually make it in this top 5, He's projected to get 30 home runs, 98 RBIs, and finish with a 273 batting average, So it can happen, actually, I think.
Stephanie?
Honestly, I want to say no, being a Cardinals fan, but I'm sorry, he will be a top 5 player. He will. You can't go wrong with Braun. Even after coming off the PED 65 game suspension, he's coming in strong in spring training. He's going to come back through. Even moving from left to right field, he's going to have a major impact on the Brewers team this year.
Well, Ryan Braun definitely coming back, playing a new position. Do you guys think at all that the new team layout, too, they got a lot of different guys in the lineup. Is that going to affect his production at all? Sam, I'll go to you.
Not as much. I feel like he can still play pretty consistently as he always has, minus last season, I think. I mean, the only big thing that they don't have right now would be Aoki not being around and Corey Hart, but he hasn't played that much in a while as well.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty much the consistency with Lucroy, Gomez, not Weeks anymore, but Segura. So, he has the same, much of the same pieces there. It's just finding the consistency.
Well, with that, we're going to go to break. I'm going to give everybody points because I appreciate you all for being on here and giving your input. And, yeah, I think you're all doing fantastic. This is a great show so far. Thanks, Sam. You're getting 1 extra point, actually. So Sam wins that round. We're going to go to break. We're going to take a look at these perfect pets. Stay tuned. SportScene is back after this.
Meet Zeke. He's a 1-year-old kitten that loves to play, hunt, and adventure. Like treats, meet Oreo. This 1-year-old lab is full of fun and is very sweet. Take out your umbrellas, it's Storm. This 2-year-old kitty likes to keep busy and is puddles of fun. And here's Edith. She's a sweet and an affectionate 8-year-old lady that is searching for a new home.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
Back to SportScene. The phone number for the Cooley Region Humane Society, 781-4014 if you wanted to adopt any of those pets. So a score update, Troy's at 10, Stephanie's at 10, and Sam is at 11. Sam with the very, very small lead, but it's anybody's game because we are about to play Packers offseason buy or sell. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys some of the Packer free agents or one of the recently signed free agents. You're going to tell me if you buy or sell that move. First, we're going to start with B.J. Raji. The guy has had a terrible season, 0 sacks, but he's commonly known just for clogging up that middle to stop the run. Sam, buy or sell re-signing B.J. Raji?
Big sell. You don't need him anymore. He has not produced since pretty much the Super Bowl season, I'd say. As you said, 0 sacks, only 12 tackles this past season. There's other people on the market that they could get. You could get Julius Peppers on the end if you wanted. And then you have other great linemen there that can fill that void, I think.
Troy?
I'm going to have to sell on B.J. Raji. I was really convinced that he would be a great nose tackle for the Green Bay Packers. He's in all the commercials. He's wanting all this money to continue to be a Packer, but I really don't see anything that he's been doing. He's been 100% unproductive with only 10 tackles on the season, no sacks. And with those kind of numbers, I don't think that he deserves a spot on that Green Bay roster.
Stephanie?
I'm also going to have to sell on B.J. Raji. I mean, he's not doing much for the Packers. He's, like you said, 0 sacks this last season. If you're going to be on the line, you need to produce something, and he's not producing anything.
It's actually kind of funny, B.J. Raji, we talked about this for the show, but B.J. Raji actually offered $8 million per year the season before. Then he came back, had 0 sacks, 10 tackles, and now they're only offering him a 1-year deal worth somewhere around, I believe, $4 million. So it sounds like that guy is not having any offers. But there was reports that he was being offered 4 years elsewhere. So, I mean, I guess if we're willing to let him go, he will be let go. Moving along, though, we're going to move down the line. Sam Shields actually just re-signed with the Pack before free agency started, a 4-year, $38 million deal. He is the second highest paid cornerback coming into next season. And that's, assuming that no other bigger deals happen going into next season. Guys, do you buy Sam Shields as the second highest paid cornerback in the league? Stephanie, we'll start with you.
I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest, like how I would go about this. He has helped the Packers out tremendously. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I just think he's getting paid a little bit too much to be playing for the Packers. I think some other team can pick him up and he can produce better.
Troy?
I'm going to have to say buy and keep the change. Sam Shields is probably one of the most exciting cornerbacks in the league. All the electrifying plays that this man has made last year for the Packers in clutch moments as a young guy is exceptional in my eyes. And he looks very promising. I mean, he's fast, he's young, he's sharp, he's always willing to learn. You can't pass on a guy like this. Buy.
Sam?
Big buy. Who cares if he gets paid a lot of money? So many players are these days. Joe Flacco, big, huge contract, and he's just a mediocre quarterback, I think. Exactly. He is a great corner, I think. And if you have him and Tramon Williams on both ends, that's a scary double.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm scared thinking about it.
And then if we can get a nice safety,
Darius Bird, maybe?
Yeah. Defense could turn around. And anybody else that they can pick up in free agency. The Packers want to spend money this offseason to get players.
Sam Shields, widely known now as the top cover corner for that team. He's also a big body too, so he can guard some of the bigger receivers in the NFL. Exactly, Brandon Marshall. We see him twice a year, so that's really key there. Moving on down the line, John Kuhn had 1 TD on 10 attempts last season. He's a traditional fullback. Mike McCarthy's run on record saying he wishes you didn't have to take Eddie Lacy out because that stops that no-huddle offense. But he's a great pass blocker. But there are reports he's on his way out. Guys, do we re-sign the fan favorite, John Kuhn? Troy, I'll start with you.
I'm going to say buy. I mean, he's worth at least another year, I would say. We're talking about a guy who's a team leader, and his tradition lies inside of the Green Bay Packers territory. You hear the crowd chanting his name all the time. Kuhn. Like, you got to have that guy there just for that team camaraderie, that team spirit. I think that John Kuhn is worth the buy, definitely.
Sam?
Buy him. He could go down as one of the greater fullbacks of this Packers team, like a William Henderson. You remember him back in the day? Those two guys, William Henderson was a great fullback for the Packers, and John Kuhn could be one of those guys. He's fantastic for blocking. He may not score all the time. When he does, though, they're big scores at big moments in the game, and you have to sign him, I think.
Very true. Stephanie?
Believe this or not, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, I am a fan of John Kuhn, and I think that he should re-sign with the Packers. Kuhn played a major role in the Aaron Rodgers 48-yard game-winning touchdown to Randall Cobb.
Okay.
And was that against the Bears, I think it was?
Yeah.
I mean, without that block that Kuhn made, I mean, that play would have never happened. So, I mean, Kuhn is definitely a guy I would keep on the Packers.
Very true. Kuhn makes a lot of impacts on the field, regardless if it's touching the ball or not touching the ball. So, yeah, I think that the Pack should definitely bring him back. He's probably not that expensive either. Moving along down the line, a guy by the name of Andrew Quarless. Not a very popular name, but he's a 6'4", 250-pound tight end. He only had 312 yards off 2 TDs last season, but he's a great pass-catching tight end. He could really replace Jermichael Finley, who's also set to hit free agency, but who knows how exactly impactful Jermichael Finley will ever be again. So, guys, do the Pack re-sign Andrew Quarless and make him their number 1 starting tight end? Stephanie, we'll start with you.
I'm going to say sell. I don't see what really he can bring to the team much, but that's just me. I mean, I have heard reports that the Giants are looking into signing him, but I mean, I know he's had 56 receptions, 586 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I know he's got lots of room to grow, but I don't think the Packers are the team for him.
Troy?
I'm going to have to say, I hate to say it, but I'm going to have to say sell on Andrew Quarless. I've seen shades of not greatness, but goodness out of this guy. I've seen him catch balls. I've seen him run mediocre routes and some decent blocking, but nothing worthy of staying in Green Bay. I mean, you have to go above and beyond to stay in a legendary place such as Green Bay. So, sell.
Sam?
Buy, not for that much of money, though. Don't pay him too much. You have to keep him because if you're not going to have Finley around, you need a tight end that knows what to do, and he knows what to do on this team, I think. He can catch the ball, and he also can block a lot better than Finley, I think. So that would be great to have him on the team as well. And I don't know who else they could get, who the backup is, really. So Quarless would be the best option, I think, in this situation for the team. Because you have a great receiving core as we'll get to the next question about James Jones. But he he will be a good tight end to have on this team for where they're at right now. You don't need that big, huge tight end yet.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with you. He's good for what he needs to do. I mean, with all the other, really skilled position players on this team, I'm not really sure you need an all-star tight end, a Pro Bowl tight end, but, only time will tell with the Pac doing free agency. Moving along, though, as Sam alluded to, we're talking James Jones, another really, really big name popping up around Packers free agency. He missed 2 games, but guys, he had 800 yards and 3 Ds, and he had 14 TDs the year before. He's been linked to talks with both the Colts and the Chargers. He's going to command a lot of money. Sam, is James Jones worth giving the money to stay in Green Bay?
Hate to say it, but sell.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Surprising.
I've come around to James Jones. Actually, I used to despise him because he used to drop the ball all the time back in the day. But he's really come around these past 2 seasons, especially the last season, as you said, with the stats. But you have to sell him because you have wide receivers that are coming up in this team right now. You got Jared Boykin, obviously you have Cobb and Nelson. You have a great receiving core as is right now. And you can just get rid of them. You can maybe find another wide receiver, and this team will be fine, I believe.
Troy?
I'm going to have to say bye, James Jones. I think this guy has really solidified himself as an elite wide receiver in this National Football League. Season before, coming down with 14 touchdowns, which was, I believe, the most in the NFL at that time.
Was.
And last year with 3 very clutch moments. He did drop a few balls, but that does not make me want to give him away. We've got to keep James here in Green Bay.
Stephanie?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I say buy him. I mean, he's got lots of room to improve, and I think the Packers are the team for him.
Okay. Well, let's take in the offseason now. We're done with buying or selling, but I want to know moves that you guys would buy. So, Sam, I'm going to start with you. Who in this free agency class do you think the Packers could sign that would make a key impact on next season's outcome?
As you stated multiple times, Jerry Bird.
Why?
Because we need a safety. Plain and simple. He is a great safety that the Packers would need and desperately need to fill out this defense. And honestly, if they can make another offseason move, getting rid of Dom Capers, I'll be fine with that as well. I'm kind of sick of the defense that they got.
What do you think, Troy?
I'm going to have to agree with Sam and vouch for that safety position, just because there were so many holes so many times on deep balls last year. It was unbelievable, and it really did upset me to see just so many open spaces in our territory. So, Jerry Bird, come on to Green Bay.
Stephanie, who should the Minnesota Vikings sign?
Who should the Minnesota Vikings sign? I really wish they would sign Jared Allen back, but that's long gone for me. But I think they should look at a quarterback.
Okay, fair enough. We are going to cut to break. We got Barry Bonds coming up next. Stick it with us. We'll be right back with some more Sports Team right after this.
Hey, can't find what you're looking for?
What?
You can find what you're looking for and more at WMCM. WMCM TV has plenty of shows you can view at your pleasure. There's Profile, where we interview people throughout the community. Or if you like sports, we have Sports Talk Live and SportScene. And if you're into celebrity gossip, that's why we have Afternoon Delight.
Well, that all looks great, but I'm on a computer, not a TV. I bet you guys don't have a way for me to watch this stuff on a computer.
Oh, we have that covered too. Just go to WMCMTV.com for all the updates.
Wow, that solves all my problems. Thanks, WMCM Genie.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. So everybody's tied at 0 right now because I want this to be a fun last question, so you guys have to try that much harder to win. We're going to talk Barry Bonds. He recently reported to Giants camp to be kind of a consultant. He was kind of there to help with the hitting and stuff like that. But, reporters asked him if they think that he thinks he's worthy to be in the Hall of Fame, and he said, no doubt, he should definitely be in the Hall of Fame first ballot. Guys, should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame? Sam, let's start with you.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I feel like from here on out, ever since the steroid era, since that's what they call it now, every single play that's going to be thought about to go into the Hall of Fame is going to have that question of, did they maybe not use steroids? I feel like that's going to be the question that a lot of these voters are going to be thinking about. I mean, he had great numbers, actually. I mean, even if he had, with the steroids, 762 home runs, a batting average of 298, and 514 stolen bases. That's fantastic. Like, he was a great player.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, put him in the Hall of Fame.
Troy.
Looking at Barry Bonds' stats, it would be easy to say, yes, he deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. But when you put steroids into the equation, how does that change everything that he's done? I mean, you've put something in your body that is going to allow you to do far better things than these normal players out here. So for you to cheat and have this ability when other players aren't able to have that, is that fair? Is it fair? I don't think so.
Stephanie.
I just want to ask you, Troy, do you see Ryan Braun being an eventual Hall of Famer?
With the use of the steroids, I don't think so.
All right, that's all I wanted to know, because I know a lot of people will sit here and say that Barry Bonds doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because of his steroid use, and then they'll turn around and say, oh, hey, my favorite player from my favorite team deserves to be there, even though he admitted to using steroids. For me, I think Barry Bonds does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he'll come anytime soon. I mean, I know he's got a while, but eventually it'll come to a point where he will reach the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it does get really foggy because then you start getting into parts where all these guys played in the steroid era, and then you do start questioning, well, did this guy play steroid, or did this guy do steroids, did this guy do steroids? And it's almost like it has to come to a commencement at some point. They asked him basically if he was trying to, I guess, replenish his image because it's been so tarnished by the courts and, just breaking Hank Aaron's record. Hank Aaron was thought to be a very genuine player. But I got to ask you guys about steroids in general. Do you think there's really a place for steroids at all in the Hall of Fame, regardless of the player that used them? Sam, let's start with you again.
Geez, that's a tough question. Because as I said, Barry Bonds, he should be in the Hall of Fame. But at the same time, it's like, no. It's a tough question because you feel like there's going to be players all from here on out that I said, might be considered if they did use steroids. So you don't know where to go with this. It's very tough to, I don't know how the voting class does it, how they conclude, exactly how they think about that.
Troy?
I use a simple analogy. If I cheat on all of my exams, does that mean I should be on the dean's list? Do those grades mean that I should be on the dean's list?
Definitely not, Stephanie.
I didn't earn them.
Quick?
So, no.
I'm kind of torn between this. It just comes down to a matter of when did they get caught or did they not get caught. So morally I'm saying no, but at the same time it's just hard saying.
Alrighty, well, I guess you guys all started at 0, but the points, I think you're going to go to Troy because you had a great analogy about the Dean's List. I thought it was hilarious, and it made a lot of sense. It made me really realize what you were trying to say. It made me visualize it. So you are our winner today. You win 1-0 to 0. It was a tie. It was a very close game, and who doesn't love close games? So Troy, send us off with a few words, if you will.
Well, first off, guys, I do want to thank you for watching SportScene today. Secondly, make sure you pay attention to your UWL Eagles this weekend. We traveled down to Lincoln, Nebraska for NCAA Division III Nationals for track and field. We're taking 22 participants, and I am one of them, and we will go to bring back a consecutive indoor national title right back to the city. Yes, we will.
Well, that's awesome to hear, Troy. We'll definitely be down to the route you on. But for SportScene, Nick Ragner, Sam Librizzi, Stephanie Haugh, and Troy Brooks, this has been SportScene, where we discuss things that matter in sports and we give away meaningless points. Stay classy, lacrosse. We'll see you in about a half an hour.